Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas with you, joined by Lois DiGiacomo Jacobson. Before the break, we were talking about the importance of art in our community and how remarkable Arts in Stark and so many have worked together to bring great art experiences to our community. One of the ways is through theater, and you have been so involved as a writer in putting together plays that address diversity issues. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I've been really privileged through the years in working with different community organizations. They come with an idea about what they want their audience to know or to experience. And through those conversations, I build plays, scenarios, productions that open those issues. For instance, the Stark County Mental Health Board some years ago was given some money to create a production. And it went unused for quite a while. And when I sat down with them and learned, they wanted to know how people were recovering and what their role was in helping people recover.
If I can stop you there, I'm so interested and curious as to why money was designated specifically for a production for that purpose. So they had the money for it, and it was, when something's earmarked for that, you can't spend it in other ways, other treatments or any kind of other therapy. They needed to come up with a play.
Well, and they couldn't find anyone to do it.
Yeah. So who got the idea? Someone said, call Lois.
Well, whatever happened. I forget. It's been a
My
while.
goodness. Okay.
But I sat down with about 6 women, happened to be all women, and asked them about their lives and what went on and how they grew and accomplished and failed and got back up again and so on and so forth. And I'll never forget, one day a woman walks in and says, you know what? My mother's not ashamed of telling everybody she takes blood pressure medicine. Now, why should I be ashamed that I take medicine to help my mental state?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have written a line that better.
That's right.
Okay? So we devised a plot where these women came together and said, let's write a play and we'll get on the Oprah show and we'll be able to do our play. Okay? And so I pretty much just copied the conversation we had. And what we did and how we would tell the story and how we would express how we were getting better and our downfalls and our getting back up again. And that's how that play was born.
Oh, now was that your first one? Is that where
I can't even remember.
This vocation
so
began? Right. Now, some of the others you've done have addressed the issue of race.
Right.
Talk about some of these that you've done.
Well, I've done a play on the history of America, where race was a big part of the plots in that play. And it was a conversation between Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Dorothy Height and W.E.B. Du Bois and Susan B. Anthony and Mahalia Jackson. Now,
wow.
They're all dead, of course.
Right, but if you could bring them all into one room.
Well, they did. They came in because they have conversations.
Yes.
I mean, they still go on with chats wherever they are. And all of them just sat down for chat and shared their stories.
And these were done in the first person.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And through their conversation, we learned what they faced in their lifetimes and how they moved on and how they made the world a better place. Let's put it that way. 2 characters in the play, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, were not on the same page for a long time.
Right.
And within the play then, we were able to pick them up at that point and then reveal in their conversation how they came together. Okay. And of course, Susan B. Anthony, being way back there, and a white woman fighting for these things to happen, told all the roadblocks that she faced and the anger that she faced after the 14th Amendment when everybody was given the right to vote. But the black men would not allow the black women to vote. They didn't want them to that to happen. Well, she set off in another vein then. So by telling a story with the historical characters revealing the inside scoops,
Yes.
okay, you
Yes.
really learn. And I've written a play about women, Dorothy Friedan, and Betty Friedan,
Yes.
and Eleanor Roosevelt, and Lena Horne, and these various women coming together, and what they faced in their lives, and how they grew. So really, you can take any topic, any scenario, and turn it into a real life dialogue where you get people engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the play with Abraham Lincoln, he told about a dream he had a couple of weeks before he was assassinated, that his dream was that he awoke at night in the White House and heard people crying, and went into a room and there was a catafalque there, and he said, "What happened?" And they said, "The president's been shot." So he actually had a dream
Yes.
about his assassination and all. And so things can be shared that you'll never forget because you've experienced it then.
Yes.
You've felt it.
I can't imagine the amount of research you must need to do to be able to make sure that these things these people say as their lines in the play are authentically what they believed and said at some time, or thought, or wrote at some time in their lives. That must just take forever. How do you do that?
God bless Google.
Yeah,
That's all I
amen.
can say. I mean,
Yes.
the materials are unending, that you can go back and find out what actually happened to these people and what actually happened at different eras,
Mm-hmm.
and how people solve problems and face just the whole 9 yards. It's fascinating, and it's quick.
Through your experiences of either historically bringing people together or currently going into high schools and currently bringing people together, what kind of surprises have you encountered? What have you learned that maybe was a bit of a serendipity learning experience for you?
Oh, my golly. I'll tell you a story.
Okay, good.
I wrote the play about Norma Marsaray,
Yes.
black educator.
Locally.
Right.
Mhm.
Wrote 2 books about her life. We created a play, and we brought it into schools. And one day we were in a 5th grade class in Canton local schools, Canton City schools. And before the play, Norma and I would stand before the children and talk about what we did and how we did it and so on and so forth. And then after the play was over, the kids got to talk to the actresses playing the characters and again see Norma. And at the door, Norma and I would stand and shake hands with the students going out and thank them for coming. Now, for people who don't know, Norma Marsaray was a black woman. And as these kids went out the door, one little white boy looked up at me and said, "Are you her mother?" Now, my first thought was, that woman is 34 years older than me, and he's asking if I'm her mother. But you see, black and white had gone out of my head.
Isn't that? Yes, exactly. Mine too, as you were telling that story. I thought, what? Dr. Marsaray is much older than you are. But
Right.
yes, but we
But
didn't go with the skin color, did we?
But the child, it had
didn't
gone
either.
out of his head, too.
Yes.
It wasn't black and white. He
Yes.
saw the relationship between us.
Yes.
And assumed since I have gray hair and she didn't,
Then that
that I was the mother.
But that's a wonderful example of what these kinds of experiences can do for
Absolutely.
children. About how old was that child? About what grade?
About the 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah, yeah. Do you find that that's the kind of reaction when you take these kind of experiences into elementary schools, that how young a person is able to become engaged in these presentations? They don't have to be just for adults.
Right. Now, I went into another Canton City school just lately, the last couple of years, and I took the American history play with Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King, so on and so forth, and gave the script. I brought the script down to their level. And I worked with 4th and 5th graders who became those characters,
Oh, my.
okay? and then did the play for read them, and did the play for their schoolmates. Okay? Well, the little boy that played Malcolm X told his grandmother, he was living with his grandmother, that he wanted to play that part. And he wanted a certain, I forget what it was, a costume or a certain something that he associated with Malcolm X, okay? That's what he wanted. And then I gave him that, of course, gave him that part.
Yes.
Okay? And so those kids will never forget
All right.
all that history because they told it. And they told it to their classmates.
What a wonderful way to teach history and to become familiar with these historical characters. You're not just memorizing names and dates and places. You are seeing that there are people that were challenged by issues and they overcame, and kind of puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
The other thing I've picked up is that in today's world, it's very difficult to get a set of actors and get rehearsal times that they all can all come to. And so I've moved to staged readings and placing the scripts in like a little photo book in front of them. And so they don't miss any of the important parts because, you know, actors sometimes miss some lines and sometimes it's a vital line. And the director then, you know, has some difficulty off stage.
Yes.
But anyway, stage readings are especially effective because I've asked people afterwards, well, you know, did the script bother you? And they'll say, did they have a script in their hand?
They don't even notice.
They don't even notice it.
How interesting. You say that you would do these for other organizations. I'm thinking there might be teachers listening right now. There could be others, church groups that are thinking this would be a wonderful way to teach something. You're willing to work with anyone? What's involved? How does someone commission you to work for them?
Just call me.
How do we? Okay. Number, please.
330-456-7397.
And give that one more time. We always give it twice.
330-456-7397.
And we're speaking with Lois DiGiacomo Jacobson, known for dialogues on diversity that was recently taking place here, a founding member of Coming Together Stark County, and has been a playwright locally doing wonderful things, bringing people together for so very long. In our final minute, you also have Canton Cabaret. What is that and what's going on with that? And bring us up to date.
That's fun entertainment. Any kind of entertainment, singers and musicians. I don't work with dancers, but singers and musicians. And we put on any kind of show that anybody wants. They just tell us, you know, what era they want. What, you know, we've done Motown, we've done jazz, we've done Johnny Mathis. In fact, we did a Johnny Mathis show that Johnny Mathis sent a flower arrangement to the person that did the show. Right.
Wow.
That was a nice surprise. So any kind of entertainment for fundraising or for entertainment.
So fun. And you can go to cabaretproductioncompany.com for more information on that. Lois DiGiacomo Jacobson, thanks for all you do for our community and what you do for the arts in our community.
Oh, what I receive back is much more.
And thanks for joining us today on Our Community.